Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, and we are taking a look at a batch of brand new screenshots for Apeiron's Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the mod remaking the original Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Last time we covered this, we took a look at the brand new character model for Darth Malak, and boy was it exciting. I'll have that link down below if you'd like to check it out. But for now, let's get into some of the brand new screenshots, sticking with Malak and looking at what is a promotional screenshot. Bastila versus Malick, this epic standoff between the light side and the dark side, highlighting the conflict between these two and how they feed off each other the entire story for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. But there's also a tech detail. You know me, I like to highlight some of the little tiny things that stick out to me that are completely different, of course, from the original game because the tech was so limited back then. And it's the light emitting off of Bastila's double-sided lightsaber, and we can see the shadow clashing with it a little bit. You guys have heard me gush about the lighting in this mod in the past, and I just have to appreciate it one more time. Next is a screenshot I had actually missed. The day I uploaded my video about Darth Malak's reveal, a new screenshot came out, and it's an update on Malick, and in fact the closest shot we had of him, highlighting some differences that I really wish I had my hands on when originally making the video, because I was touching on the fact that, hey, this does look amazing, but what's good is it also looks similar. Turns out when you get a close look at him, there are once again those little tweaks to his model. Number one is his color of eyes. They are a much brighter hazel as compared to the original Knights of the Old Republic, where it was just a dark brown slash blackish. It really makes his eyes pop. It works with the dark shadow that's underneath his eyes. It makes him look a lot more evil, intimidating, brooding, and I think it works well with him. Once again, with this new technological leap, we can see differences like wrinkles in his forehead or a reflection off the metal piece that is supposed to be his jaw. So little details like this are something that you couldn't see from afar with the initial character reveal that now upon closer inspection you can see. All of these, are they drastic differences? No, but they're quality of life changes that really are going to help Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic when it gets into the hands of people for the first time ever. Another update we received was for the senior spot on Tatooine. Now, I'm not going to consider this a bit of criticism, but more so an inquiry in your direction, because when I was looking at this screenshot, I noticed there's a ton of clutter. There's very narrow environmental spaces. It can feel a little bit linear, and that's not only in this shot, but also in the gameplay that I was sent and showed to you guys in the planet's reveal. Now, compare this to the much more empty, open streets of the original KotOR, where folks usually lined up along the sides of them and the rest was opened up. I want to ask you, which do you prefer? Is this too much clutter when you look at Apeiron? Too many signs, too many stakes in the ground, rocks, and so on? Is that all taking away from what the planet is? And on top of that, the neon that clashes with what is a dusty, dark brown. Because I read the comments quite often, I had noted a few, albeit not a lot, okay, that were talking about clutter in reference to both Tatooine and the Taris lower city, because in the lower city, a similar situation had happened. There's lots of piles of debris, a ton of neon signs, and some people were noting that the assets were kind of being put all over the place, and it just felt like a little too much. So I'd like to get your take on that. I'm sure the development team would appreciate it. It's something I had personally noticed a bit here in this screenshot in particular, and so your voice is how these games get shaped. Now for some really exciting stuff. So we got the blaster pistol model revealed to us. They are finally starting to implement weapons into the gameplay systems. This is important to note because we have to go all the way back a couple of years ago when I had helped first revealed this game. And during that point in time, there was a section on the Endar Spire where the person was running around in first person and shooting lasers from what looked to be their chest. I imagine that has now been replaced with, for example, the blaster pistol. Let's take a look at the model itself. The first screenshot shows off dual wielding, which is the way to go. If you are new to KotOR, invest in that two-handed fighting as soon as possible, because once you master that, it is easily the best mechanics you can have in the game. You never want to wield just one weapon. Unless you're Kreia, then you kind of have to. But anyway, I wondered what these little icons in the inventory menus are going to look like now that we're remaking the weapons in general. It wasn't something that crossed my mind when I looked at the lightsabers, but rather when I'm looking at these pistols, are they going to change those icons that symbolize the weapons, and will there be different ones for different weapons where in the original KotOR, a lot of them overlapped each other, where if it was generally a blaster pistol, no matter how rare it was or what quest reward you got it from, it would always be that very same pistol, despite the model itself looking completely different. Now, I went to the extra length for you guys here, and I tried to use the Aurebesh translation guide via Wikipedia to read some of the scripting on the side of the gun, and admittedly, I struggled. It's very hard to tell because some of the scripts are facing a different way, and I was trying to research into other scripts in the Star Wars universe, but right now, I can use the help of other Star Wars fans with this just for future coverage, because right now it's not a huge deal. It's just fun to dissect and see the level of detail that's engraved on these weapons, but all I got so far was right on this little section here. This means tech. Those were the only pieces of script there that were written, that the symbols directly represented what I was looking at, which was, like I said, the Aurebesh translation guide, but the rest were a little bit tweaked, so I could use your help with that. Are there separate guides, or was I just looking at them funny, or is there something I'm missing in the terms of Star Wars? I'd like to know, but I imagine maybe it's something like Blast Tech or something along those lines, which is a pretty popular weapon producer in the Star Wars universe. Now we're starting to wrap it up. They announced that there are some new ideas for Lower Taris and that they are working on the Hrakert Rift. We'll start off with Lower Taris. So some new ideas. When I looked at this picture here, I instantly went back to the gameplay that was provided to me a couple of months ago, and I noticed slight differences, nothing gigantic, but when you look at the screenshot here, there's cords that are draped across the pathway. When I'm looking at my gameplay, I just noticed tons of piles of debris on the right and left sides of the alleyway. And more than anything, the neon signs are providing the lighting. It's actually not already lit, kind of like in the gameplay I saw. And I feel like this is evident because if you look deeper into the picture in the background, we can notice that there are two lamp-like objects where the picture is considerably brighter, and you can see on the ground there is more light being emitted. So just a cool little change there. I don't know if that's the new idea for Lower Taris, I doubt it, but it's just a little difference I had picked up on personally. And last is our first look at Hrakert Rift, and holy crap, I just gotta emphasize this now. Hopefully the development team is listening to me. If you guys are working on the environmental suit, please make the movement speed something faster than that of a snail. I didn't like how KotOR 2 took it to the next level, and you were literally like boop, 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 like moving around at an insanely fast speed. I think we can find a happy medium for our environmental suits and keep us at a normal movement speed. I know it's tough because in the original KotOR, they were kind of trying to immerse you in the environment, make sure that you're moving slow because you're running around underwater. It's not like you can move at full speed, but there comes a point where it's like, all right, it's a video game. I'd like to move more than 2 steps every hour. So if the development team's listening, I just hope you guys are focusing not only on how amazing these environments look, but of course, how to make movement here in this area not such a long trek, because I have to admit, it's one of the negative parts about KotOR. As for the Hrakert Rift, doesn't look any different than I'd expect. So that about wraps up all I could pick apart throughout these brand new screenshots for Apeiron's Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and I have to say, I am loving having these weekly, monthly updates for the mod. I know they just do them when things are ready. I don't know if they're on a schedule or anything like that, but I just gotta say, I appreciate it because I love making content about this mod and just being the person who talks about KotOR on a weekly basis, because who would have thought that this many years later you could still create the Old Republic styled content and people would find an interest in it. I mean, let's be real, ladies and gentlemen, it's me, okay? You know, I'll take any single opportunity to shoot the shit with you guys about Knights of the Old Republic, but it does go a bit deeper than that. I want to make everyone aware that around this time of the year things get really busy. It's review season. I'm playing a bunch of brand new games, and sometimes it's nice to just kick back with this type of content, have a discussion, pick through some screenshots, and more importantly, connect with a big part of my childhood and what really formed me into the gamer I am today. It's beyond special to me. It's really hard to put an exact word on it to see how a community's formed around the love of the Old Republic. So just know it does touch me in a very personal way, and I absolutely love making these videos. So here's to more weekly KotOR videos. So thank you guys so much for supporting the content and supporting the mod. As always, to keep this mod alive and well and giving your support to the development team, follow them on Twitter, check out their website, try to lend your help in any way, shape, or form, whether it's vocal support or if you're good at game development, then maybe try applying. Now, while you're down in that description helping out the Apeiron team, I'd also appreciate you following me on Twitter, liking me on Facebook. Those links are there, as well as my Patreon. Do consider supporting that as it fuels all the content we create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.